Steven and I just made it to Tallinn, Estonia, and we just came from Helsinki, Finland, which, to be honest, is much colder than this. And now we're looking to go to the old town to meet TJ, because TJ is flying in from Vienna. I'm on the bus now about to meet TJ, and I want to touch on the public transport here in Tallinn. You can get from anywhere. So right now, where we are by the seaport that we just arrived from Helsinki, it's so easy to get to the old town just through transportation. So I'm on this bus right now that's going to get us right there. But you can also take trams, and if you're really American or just really impatient, you can go and take a boat, and that will get you there immediately as well. Very technologically advanced.
On my way over to Russia, I was able to meet up with two of my good friends. Our rendezvous point of choice was Tallinn, Estonia, and from there we decided to celebrate Easter together the next morning.
There was this very kind cellist who was playing up on the stage. They actually did Sia Hamba, which is a South African song. I used to sing it in choir, so it touched my heart to hear that. And after service, he invited us to go with his families and friends to have an Easter dinner. And I'm very excited for it. I think these two are as well. They were just talking about it. These are the best sort of interactions that you can have when you're traveling, because it's how you really get to know what life is like in a different corner of the earth. So we're taking the 73 down into the old town. I've been here once before, but I finally get to enjoy it with some good friends and some good weather. So, demographically speaking, Estonia has a lot of Russians, not only in the east part of the country where there are a lot of ethnic Russians, but there's also a lot that have recently moved here to Tallinn because of the war, Ukrainians, etc. So when you're on the bus, when you're in the city, it's pretty easy to hear Russian, which is cool for someone like me who studies the language. But I do miss hearing Estonian as well. It's a beautiful language. And we're gonna go right now to a brunch spot if they're open. I went there 6 months ago. I've been craving it ever since. And from there we'll see a bit of the town. Last time I was in Tallinn, I came to this bookstore, and it was one of the most beautiful I've ever seen in the world.
It may look like a nice and calm vacation, but I'm actually preparing for a 2-week journey to both Russia and Israel, and Tallinn was my first stop. And it would only get crazier after a weekend with my buddies.
Crash course on the Estonian language, so it's related to Finnish. There's a lot of vowels. It's similar enough to Finnish that if you understand Finnish, also a Uralic language, all these people, they came from over in the Ural Mountains in the middle of Russia. And they came over here, settled on the beach. I don't blame them, it's good property. And this is what the language looks like around here. Vertustades. Ajalugu.
Right here's our Airbnb. We're gonna go check into our second one. Let's see if this is any better.
Zach was a clever guy and he booked 2 of them.
I booked 2 of them.
When we could have just had 1. But I've made worse logistical problems in my time.
It's not the worst thing to happen.
I'm retired now, so
yeah,
it's all him.
It's all me.
Our next stop of the day was the main market. We wanted to make sure our bellies were full enough before the party, just in case there weren't any leftovers.
With samsa. It's like a apple pie or something. And you know, we had brunch, but it wasn't enough for me. Even though we're going to this Easter place, I'm hungry. 1 wasn't enough. This one is more on the savory side. It's samsa with potatoes and mushrooms. And this one, apple one. And it's gonna be my dessert. So my second lunch, my third lunch.
But I may have enjoyed my food for a little too long.
Church fiasco.
This wasn't your typical Estonian family. Estonia is actually known for being one of the most irreligious countries in the world, and this family was a family of musicians, luthiers, cellists, and vocalists, and we were gladly invited along to sing some classic hymns, although in Estonian.
ja vaata, ma tulen peagi. Vennis on see, kes...
I wouldn't have wanted to celebrate Easter any other way. The next day, after a quick visit to the antiques market, we ended up on a quest to a delicious, adventurous restaurant in the center of town.
We're about to go into this tavern called the Three Dragons, and the menu hasn't changed for about 200 to 300 years. They have elk, bread, all the great foodstuffs of the prehistoric, the medieval times, I guess you could say. It's in this beautiful castle, and I mean, I've had such a lovely time here in Tallinn, and why not make it greater with a wonderful tavern experience?
We are at Three Dragons, and we have some wild meat pastry, elk meat soup.
Bring the camera to me. Hear it. We are on our quest to slay the dragon, so we came to Three Dragon. Wild animal pastry, elk stew. We are ready to feast. Shall we continue our quest to slay that dragon?
Bring it on then, bring it on. How is the tenderness of your meat?
Very tender for wild meat.
Not taking shots out of a gold.
So now I will indigest an ox soup. It is more like a borscht, but from ages ago. So they clearly don't give spoons, forks, or knives. So I'm going to have to go in with a simple sip of the tongue. Delicious, scrumptious, perfect for a sojourner who is tired coming from the neighboring village. I've had similar soups in the East and in the Orient, but nay have I ever had a soup so good as this.
They're going bobbing for pickles over there.
Next item on the agenda was to get an early night's sleep, because we would be going to Narva, Estonia, on the Russian border, and splitting up from there early the next morning.
So I got a Pyhäpaikabe atlas. It's a Nat Geo. It has some stuff from Estonia, of course, the local, but also the pyramids of Narva. What is it called? The Tiger's Nest in Bhutan, Tanzania. One of my favorite places, I gotta show you this page, if I see it in. The Escarpment of Dogon. One of my dream places in Mali. It has a isolated language that's not spoken anywhere else in the world. I want to go there. So, even though I don't understand Estonian, I'm gonna learn it just so I can understand all the richness hidden within these pages. They have a beautiful picture of Jerusalem and all the churches, mosques, and temples that once were and are.
That will help you in a week or two.
And so we went. It was east to Narva, and the beginning of the next chapter of what would become an amazing journey over the next 2 weeks.
So for someone who's been on both sides of the border, how does life differ in Narva from Ivangorod and the further provinces?
I would say the most stark difference is the language, of course. Everything switches to Russian. You instantly can tell you're not in the European Union. That's one thing. When you cross the border, the passport process takes about an hour, sometimes two, on both sides together. So The life there is pretty similar, I would say, especially to Narva. Everyone here is Russian. But once you get to St. Pete, it definitely gets very different. The streets start to get wider, the buildings start to get taller. You realize you're no longer in a cutesy little European town like Tallinn, but you're in somewhere very magnitudinous like St. Petersburg, the land of the stars. Yeah. So we just got to our place in Narva, and I found this book on the shelf. It's called Gatir и Namienny Filosof. It's a Soviet knockoff of Harry Potter, where he's using a motorcycle with a peace sign to get from wherever he is in provincial Russia to Hogwarts.
And the next day came before we even knew it, and it was time for me to part ways with my boys. They'd be going to Latvia, and I'd be going to St. Petersburg, and it was goodbye for now.
Some money exchange for the long journey to Russia, 40,000 rubles, and we're off.
I'm not off.
Oh,
I'm not going to Russia.
Yeah, we're off to Riga, the other direction. But this is where we say our goodbyes. Not just yet.
Yeah, not just yet. Let's take a sentimental walk. I'm not gonna film it, but
Yeah, let's
we'll film
turn
the
the cameras
crossing
off.
the bridge.
And I'll be seeing these guys sometime in summer. But until then, it's goodbye.
Hopefully, it'll be much warmer.
Probably, yeah. These ones are all going back to college.
So it wasn't the final goodbye because he has to now walk across the border. That bus goes back to Tallinn.
Get a cinematic shot of me, nice and close. Looking up, him walking.
So long. See you, TJ.